Let me take you through one of the most exciting shoots I've had in a while. As you saw in one of my previous vlogs, I shared how I work with this car company that makes these really cool cars that are technically retro but built from scratch. So these are brand new cars. Luckily, they're based out of Orlando. So the client reached out and they wanted to do a whole series on this car that I helped them announce on Bloomberg earlier, as you saw. So they wanted to do a whole series where we show the car basically being developed from beginning to end, because what they do is really cool and epic, and even their fans may not know how much work actually goes into each individual step to build this car, essentially from just a roll of steel to the end product that clients are buying. And these are obviously very, very expensive, very high-end cars meant for people who love these type of cars, and they also want to take it to the track. So the first shoot day on this series was the track day, where we got to take a prototype mule car essentially to track, where the client was going to test it, and we were going to kind of record all of that and get a ton of B-roll, as there was not an actual production car, because remember, nothing had been built yet except for the prototype. So this prototype obviously does not have any paint or anything like that. It just has these tracking markers on it. So that's why it looks bare. It also has a lot of 3D printed parts. It's just a prototype. So it was a really early call time. So we went to this facility where you can do vehicle testing. And it was exciting to bring out the FPV pilot. And Andrew wasn't available, so I got Calvin from his recommendation, who was amazing, by the way. Another shot is incredible. Yeah. So Calvin, tell us what we're doing today.
All right, we are using multiple cameras both on the ground and in the air to chase is it a Boss Mustang? Is that what they said?
Yeah, it's a full
around
Boss
the track.
429, yeah.
And I got some really sick shots. This is probably some of the best FPV work I've ever been hired to do. It looks really, really cool, and I truly can't wait to see how some of this stuff comes out. I've got several drones here with me that are putting in some really good work today.
Since we needed to get a lot done and had limited resources available, even though I have full car rigging kits and we could probably mount our FX6s and FX3s on the car, we decided to take advantage of these smaller cameras and move fast. So we got these two Pocket 3 cameras, and we decided to mount them on the Tilta arm that I have, and then another arm that I got called Move Max that I got from a buddy. And we were able to use these to quickly move fast, use the apps on our phones till we were able to track the car. So we're actually doing a car shoot with Revology. So we're going to be testing a mule car, and we're doing the video production behind it. So we're flying an FPV drone. We're using a couple FX3s. Then we are also using Pocket 3s because we only have an hour and a half at the track. So to move fast, we're using the arms. I think it's the Tilta arm that we're using. It's called the Hydra Alien Millie. And I was really surprised the kind of image we were able to get and how fast we were able to move. Because we not only had to do this first track where we got all the footage of, the car running, rollers, we got A-roll, we got shots of the car on track, following it, mounting cameras on the car itself. And then we also needed to hit some storyline beats, as in if something goes wrong or, just following up with the engineers as they're learning more about it. They're getting more data and learning more about how the car is performing on track. They were checking for a lot of things and collecting a lot of data, kind of just checking the speed, cooling, making sure all the systems are working. They even custom designed the chips and things like that on the car. So they're checking the computers and the body control module. Everything is working fine. We also did something called an NVH test, which is like noise vibration testing, where they tested the car, to make sure everything is just working fine. Which ones that we're using, Calvin?
All right, so primarily, this is the star of the show. This is an FPV style drone from a company called 399 Project that was designed from a guy who used to race professionally, who goes by Jet FPV. This is a dead cat style frame, and what that means is that these arms are kind of pushed back a little bit, so you don't get any props in the frame while you're flying. It's also my personal favorite. I just kind of like the way it looks. I think it looks cooler than the X style.
And then what's our camera of choice?
All right, this is the DJI's newest one. This is the Osmo Action 5 Pro. This is DJI's answer to GoPro, essentially. I actually have grown to like this camera more than GoPro simply because from a professional standpoint, this gives me a true log profile to work with. Color grading is probably one of my favorite parts of video production. I've taken several classes and done a lot of just learning on my own in DaVinci Resolve to try to get really, really good at this and really bring out the detail and see how flexible colors can be to really give it a clean, polished look, something better than what would come out of any camera.
And for me, primarily, the main reason was when Calvin and we were discussing pre-production on this project, he gave me the both options of Action 5 and DJI. I liked his recommendation because we're also using Pocket 3, so they'll match together really well. So it's better for production. Okay, so we're doing the second section of the track. This is the geometric. No, I think it's the geometric track. Essentially, they're checking the suspension of the vehicle, and on the production side, basically we're filming with the two arms. I think it's the what is it called? I think it's the Tilta Hydra Alien Mini, and we're using Pocket 3s just for speed, because as you see, we have an hour and a half to do all of it, all three sides. So we're basically trying to go for rush. So right now we're doing the first section. We have Mario, who's in the passenger seat, getting reactions, dash, all the gritty, insides. And then we're using the Pocket 3s to get the action. So essentially they're testing the car while we're filming it. So it's a little stressful environment. And then we're gonna go to Calvin, who's gonna do FPV. So what's the drone that we're swapping to?
All right, this is the Rotor Riot Skylight. Rotor Riot is a local Orlando company that makes a lot of different drones for different purposes. This one is designed specifically for things like this in mind. There are people who use this drone to fly over crowds of people. There are people who I've seen use this strictly to trace drift cars around. So for a track like this is actually the perfect quad to do it. It's got the exact amount of speed and the exact amount of control we need to keep this going.
Awesome. I'll throw some footage up there because I can't wait to show you. Obviously, I'll just probably throw a Rec 7 line LED on it. It may not be fully graded yet, but just to show you guys what it looks like. It's fire footage, like no kidding.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
This is the type of stuff, because
this is gonna be real cool.
We mostly do corporate and commercial videography, so we do high-end stuff, but a lot of times it's still working with talking heads and simple B-rolls. So this type of shoots is really exciting for us because we're actually doing like high-speed action, with cars and vehicles, and there's not that many vehicle manufacturers out there, and we're so lucky to be in Revology. We're so lucky to be in Orlando and have Revology as one of our clients at Bindra Productions, because they're one of the only manufacturers of cars. So even though it's a classic car licensed from Ford, they are building it from ground up. It is a brand new car. It's not a classic car that they're reproducing. They are building it from scratch, and this type of testing is really cool. And for us as a production company and to be doing FPV at a shoot like this is really cool. So I'm excited to have everyone who's here helping out. This is an incredible team of people, and we're just able to come last minute and do some cool stuff. So it's exciting. And look, the car's coming back. We're at the third part of this first track. Essentially, we're taking the car over, huge bumps, and it's gonna move left and right. And essentially, we mounted a camera really low, so a little precarious. So I'm curious how it lasts, but obviously the footage is gonna be really incredible. So, it's the most nerve-wracking one of all. So excited to see how it turns out.
If the camera survives, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we'll know in a few minutes if it becomes an expensive shoot or not.
Just tracking the car as it's going over some rough terrain, but it looks like it's handling it pretty well. I don't know if that's going to show up on the camera or not, but I can try to get a screenshot.
Camera. We're looking really good. Obviously a little behind schedule. We did add the skid pad that wasn't part of the original schedule, but that's part of video production. You roll with the punches, and the footage is looking incredible. The goal is to just get what we need. The team's doing fantastic. I couldn't be happier with the people we have. A real good group of guys, so excited to go to the next track. After we were done with the first track and facility, we took a short break and we went out to the second location, which was more of a private racetrack, and that's where the client was able to kind of just rip it, and we were able to get even more running shots and things like that. So we're at the next track. So it's a really cool place. It's called Circuit Florida. It's basically like a country club, but with a racetrack, which is really cool concept. So excited. We're gonna do again more of the same, but excited to be at this spot because it's really neat.
Is there like a track inside, or?
Yeah, so this is like a racetrack that you can be a member of, like pretty much like a golf, if you're a country club member, kind of like that, just with racetrack. So it's exclusive. You cannot just come here as if you're, a member of the public. You have to be a member of this place. So really excited. Yeah, as a production company goes, this is the exciting stuff. So we've been working with Urology, which is a company that hired us a lot. But normally what we're doing is, in their factory and sending them to like news or whatever. So this is the fun part. So I've been telling them for a few years that I've known them, like we got to do track stuff. So excited. This is part of overall a project. So it's not just the track. We'll do a lot of content around building a car from scratch. So this is just a small portion of that. But this is the most exciting part of it. All right, let's go roll. Overall, this was a very exciting shoot. And since we had so much fun, I can't wait for when we put the final production car on track. And that is going to be something epic. So subscribe if you want to keep following this series and kind of see that car on track. So in the next one, we're going to actually go do the interview shoot where we get to do formal interviews with some of the engineers and the CEO. So stay tuned for that.